I'll say a white oak tree will get to 65, 70 feet, and then it'll just keep getting bigger around. As it gets heavier, the bottom of it's holding all the weight down close to the trunk, close to the root. And as that gets heavier, it starts pushing it down, and those fibers at the bottom, instead of being straight, they start scrunching. They start making like an accordion. Well, that accordion look, as it goes in and out and in and out and in and out, makes that. And if you look at it when it's planed, it looks like that. But if you look at it when it's not planed, it looks like that. That's that accordion look. When you plane that off, you end up with fiddleback. Well, this thing's got fiddleback pretty much from one end to the other. And in the middle of that, it's got this swirl stuff. I don't even know what that would be even called. It's just all wadded up in there. But in the middle of those, it's got bird's eyes. So it's a really exquisite piece of wood. Now what I'm trying to do with this straight block is very subtly smooth out those little valleys and ridges, very subtly. This is 220 and it's pretty worn out, 220. But I'm trying to get rid of those little valleys and ridges. Take off the ridges and even them up down to the valley is what I'm attempting to do. I guess technically there's no way to sand a piece of wood without removing the patina, but I'm doing my best to not sand any more than I have to. Right in here is just a couple little waves. The problem with waves is the glossier the finish, the more you see them. A long black Cadillac with a wave about a bazillionth of an inch thick, deep, you can see it from across an interstate. If it's a flat black Cadillac, doesn't have any gloss to it, you can't see it and you're looking straight at it. So the glossier the finish, the more it shows up. Every little imperfection, every wave is accented and got big banners hanging off of it. So straight blocking is the only way to get rid of waves and imperfections. Okay, so here's the deal. This forearm is broken. Right here and right here. To put this back together, I'm going to drill 4 holes and put these pins in about right there and right there and there and there. These are tempered screws. I'm going to cut that head off, put a point on each end and set that thread in epoxy down in those holes. I'm gonna coat inside here, everywhere I don't want the epoxy to stick. I'm gonna coat this with wax. Inside here, on the outside, I'm just gonna rub wax right next to that gap. I'm not gonna be able to get it all the way to the crack because I don't want to pollute that with wax, but I'll get it within a 1/16 or so. I'm going to use the forearm mounting bracket as my pattern. I'm going to leave that thing stuck in there because that gives me the gaps that I need, the dimensions, the width of this here and here, and all of these spacings are made clear by that piece of metal right there. So I'm just going to leave it in there. I'm going to cover it with wax really well so nothing sticks to it, where I can get this thing back off again once it's glued up. Most of the time I use 5-minute epoxy. On this job I'm going to use 2-hour epoxy because I need some time to work with this. I've got a little block made where I can clamp. Once I get this thing put together, I'm going to put pressure that way. So this little block enables me to clamp and put pressure right there. I'll put the other end out here with a pad on a bar clamp. I've got my bar clamp already mounted in my vise to where whenever this comes down, it'll come down quickly and it'll kind of all be at once. That's the plan. Hopefully I got all my bases covered there. One thing about it, epoxy sticks wherever you don't tell it to not stick. I don't want to cut this thing off here with a chisel. Now I got to drill some holes. It'll be kind of hard to try to put a punch and hit that, but I'm going to try to scribe, just dig out a little hole with this dental tool. trying to keep it centered between the outside and the inside of that milling. I'm just using my eye to do that. Keep it centered side to side. Now I've got to try to drill this thing straight in, even though this is on an angle. I've got to go with straight with this top edge and with this inside milled edge. Actually, that inside milled edge got a little taper. It's really a whole lot of guesswork, but I'm going to start with a really small bit and I'm going to enlarge it as I go. When it gets big enough for me to slip these pins in there, actually before that I'll probably use a nail just smaller than this and just put 4 nails in there and see if it all goes together and if it's kind of in the right place. I can adjust by getting bigger and bigger drill bits. I can adjust and ooch it as I go. Now by looking at this plane of this bit and the top of this, I can tell how I'm off and adjust that and correct that. A lot of it is just nothing but eyesight. Does it look right? A couple of 3-penny nails should slide in there and let me know if I'm close. There's a little tension, but it's close. Very close. But when I drill the holes bigger and put these in, these are not a tight fit. These are going to have epoxy all the way around those threads.